The yen has fallen to a 38-year low, and that is something which is causing nervousness in the Asian markets.
Nasdaq was up 0.5%. AI-led optimism. Amazon was the mover yesterday, 3.5% gains on the stock. 7.06 crore shares, which is 20%, a little over 20% of India Cements' equity.
For now, the first tick on the index is a tad bit in the red, down about 40-odd points. Makes sense to see what both Ultratech and India Cements are doing at the moment. Ultratech Cements is up, but not too much.
Licensing pact that we have with GIB, it's a pretty comprehensive relationship.
June 28 is an important day for India's bond markets, for rupee, interest rates, and indeed the Indian economy. Starting June 28, Indian government bonds enter JPM's Global Bond Index for emerging markets.
Flatlining for the benchmark indices, it's gotten a bit choppy.
इस बार भी महिलाओं ने बढ़ चढ़कर मतदान में हिस्सा लिया है.
CNBC-TV18 were the first to report that Ultratech has bought over 20% stake in India Cements.
69 points higher on the Nifty, but it's 100 point off the lows of the highs of the day today.
Sharpest strategies, top market trends, unmatched perspectives. The trading day's most comprehensive roundup. Stay ahead with NSE Closing Bell. Broadcasting live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal Studios in Mumbai.
Well, that was the day so far. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Closing Bell, the last hour coming up here. We're coming to you from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal Studios. It's been a very, very busy day. The markets got, 50-odd points. But Rima and Mangalam, I was just looking at from the gap down that we had,
yes,
all of the moves, you add up all of the ups and downs and downs and ups, it's totaling about 500 points. 500 index points on the Nifty, and there's about 50 to show for it. As we start the last hour.
Classic expiry day, right? That's what you call it. Because we've seen near 1,400 points in terms of gains this series so far, which is the best since, December 2023, if I remember. And now with levels coming to rotund numbers, you had 24,000 on the Nifty, you had 53,000 on the Nifty Bank. Yeah. Maybe the street is going into July series ahead of the big events in July series a little light.
And we've managed to clock in so many gains in an election month where we had so much volatility. It almost feels like, that big slam dunk, that 5-6% move is long forgotten and markets have just been marching on. But we have the budget to look forward to. But not to forget, guys, this is also the day that the Nifty's hit 24,000 for the first time ever. And as the ticker team had pointed out, it took us only 23 sessions, which included the election day, to get from 23,000 to 24,000. And the big difference is in the last 1,000 points is large caps like HDFC Bank, Reliance Industries have come to the party. Today also Reliance Industries is holding up in the green, but the biggest contributor has been IT. And the Nifty IT index today has hit a fresh 3-month high. It's a 1.5% gain on that. So it's been busy and momentous for our markets.
There's a match also today, right?
8 o'clock.
There was a match.
There was a match?
I'm surprised no one said India-England.
India-England is in the evening. In the morning, there was South Africa-Afghanistan, and South Africa thrashed Afghanistan. So the beauty is that for the first time in the last 7 occasions that South Africa has reached the semi-finals of any ICC event, the first time they're going on to the finals. So let's see how that pans out. I mean, it's one of those days where, you're not even done with half the day, the calendar day, and news worth nearly 4 days has played out.
I'm just happy it's a T20, so I can actually watch it. It will get done. Imagine if it was an ODI and you...
It can be as long as an ODI if it rains. Who knows?
Fine.
Don't be a damn... chances of rains.
All right, we'll talk more about cricket as we go along. Actually, I just want to say one thing. Broader markets are looking a little weak today, and that is very, very clear. So it's almost 3-1 declines to advances. Nifty is up 50 points, but look at the market breadth. You got about almost 2,000 stocks which are lower and about 700 stocks which are higher. So it's really one way, and the divergence actually is only growing. Pull up the Nifty small cap index, if you will. It's down a full 1%. So, I mean, if it is about single stocks and and it's been about that, portfolios, etc., I think it's not exactly the best of days. Mid cap index also is down, keep that in mind. Now, it's absolutely, I think it would be nice if you get a little bit of consolidatory kind of price action, because it has become, especially after what we've seen this week, which has been so good, a little too one-sided. And sometimes when that happens, and we were talking about that same time yesterday in terms of FII positioning in index futures, it's just one indicator. It's swung from extreme pessimism to a bit of extreme optimism in the extreme zone broadly, and that is just a signal sometimes. So we'll see. But we're at about, what, 23,930 on the Nifty right now. Let's tell you what trades you can take specifically with Mitesh is with us. Mitesh, good afternoon. Good to have you here. So just weigh in on everything you heard and, of course, what you're watching. What are the trades?
Prashant, I think the Nifty hit 24,000 has come off from there a little bit. Again, the trend isn't under threat, but it's a sluggish move. So I would be willing to take some profits. Trade the stop loss is tighter now to about 23,800 and see how it goes. This is on the spot. On the trading side, NTPC is a buy with a stop at about 300 and targets of 385 by National Aluminium. Next side.
What's also interesting is that today in the broader markets, like you were pointing out the weakness, one interesting trend is earlier we would get any PSU or rail-related stock or defense-related stock announce an order win, and we would see a big jump in the stock prices. On the other hand, today there were order win announcements that came in from KEC. That stock is doing well, but it's currently off the highs of trade, so currently at the lower level of today's trading range. In the meanwhile, we also got orders from RVNL. RVNL won some orders from government agencies, etc. That stock too has moved to the low point of trade. So
EMS also, I think EMS also won an order, and that's in the red right now.
So that just tells you the mood of the market right now. Having said that, you said the moves around the lows and the highs were close to 500 points. We're not done yet. Why do I say that? Because 24,000 call has a fair amount of writing. So every time the Nifty makes a move towards that 24,000 mark, we can see some congestion. But at the lower level, the 23,900 put has been equally active. So even when we started the show, the Nifty was closer to 23,910, 23,920. From there, we've seen a good 30-point up move. So both the lower and the higher end of the markets are keeping the moves that we're seeing.
Is this jumping out at you in terms of obvious trades apart from what you've mentioned?
Again, sir, I think today's expiry date, so today's move is somewhat biased in the sense that it could actually go the other way tomorrow. So I would be rather today be more quietly taking trades, and therefore I'll stick to what I've accumulated from these two.
Then maybe we'll chat again at about 3:10 or so. Thanks very much, Mitesh, for that. PB Fintech is what we want to talk about. Stocks up about, I think, 4-5%. Citi is issuing a buy call, and they're putting out some reasons for it as well. Yash is here with details. Yash, over to you.
Well, as you rightly pointed out, PB Fintech